My name's Colin Gillespie, and I'm going to be talking about comparing package versions. I work for Jumping Rivers. Essentially, this slide can be summarized as we do everything with R and Python, so we need help with that. If you've been around the exhibit stands, we also do a smashing side project on coasters. And do you know how hard it is to get 500 coasters through US Customs? It's surprisingly difficult. Even when you say you're going to an RStudio conference, you just think that should explain it all. So if you want to hear that story, come and have a chat as well. So, we all love R. You start your project, you pull out wonderful packages, you do some amazing code, and then you're about to present your results, and you think, I could just update my packages. What's the worst that could happen? Surely, not a lot could have changed. Well, we've all been there, and you've gone from praising the R gods to swearing at them and cursing them and hating everything about it. And essentially what the question is, when a package is updated, how do you find out what's changed? All right, so it should be an easy question. How do you find out what's changed? Well, if the gods are smiling in your favor and the package author has been wonderful, so here it's Liberate, you can see you've got a nice news file. My news files are not like this, that I wish they were, but you can sort of see it's nice links to issues, new features, bug fixes. It's all very nice. It's great. You clickable links. It tells you exactly what's going on. There might even be a little blog post by the authors, detailing exactly what's changed and you could work out, and that's good. So that's if you're lucky. The birds are singing, the sun's shining. If you're unlucky, well, you might have to go to the Git repo. This is Liberate's Git repo, but just trying to keep the consistent style. And it's not bad, right? In the grand scheme of things, going through someone's Git repo is definitely better than nothing, and it's okay. You might just be relying on something like R Weekly, for example, to sort of help you figure out what's going on, and that could be another way of figuring it out. And if you've done something to upset, essentially, everyone, then essentially you download a tar.gz file from CRAN, and you try and unzip that, and you try and work your way through. And these people here are essentially showing fake consultant happiness. So fake consultant happiness, in my mind, is when your client asks you to do something you really don't want to, and so you just go, yes, that's fine, of course I'll do that. So if you've ever gone through the source code, it's not a fun process because you're trying to figure it out. And this is where Diffify came in. So this is Diffify.com, and essentially it's trying to make that package difference easier. So you go to Diffify.com, you click on R, and then you put in your package of that you want. This is a team effort, so there's around about 10 contributors, and all of them done an amazing job at coding with the exception of me, who's standing here presenting, who's done no coding whatsoever. So I'm living the dream of not doing any of the real work, but standing presenting it. So thank you to all the other 9 people who've done the work. So as an example, I thought, well, we'll go for Liberate. So you type in Liberate, and that's the package. And then you get to choose which version you want to compare. So you've got one you're going from to. We've gone back to round about, I think it's 2017. We're probably going to go, we'll keep knocking off a year until things start breaking and passing, and then we'll think, yeah, probably not go back any further. We reckon round about 2014, but just now 2017 is fine. So here we're going to compare version 1.8 with 1.79. The news is nicely split up, so we can see that it's been a few releases. 1.792 wasn't actually on CRAN, but that news file was kicking about somewhere, or the news part. Highlights what's changed, so just grab the news. More useful, you can actually start exploring what's changed programmatically. So sometimes there's not a news file, sometimes the news file is incomplete. So here we can see that RCPP has been removed as an import from Liberate over the last version. We can look at the namespace file. And again, we get the same idea here. So we've had 4 functions added to the namespace file in that version change. So we can have a little look. We can look at the functions. And here we can see, well, we've got 4 functions added. And one of them have the arguments have changed. And then we can click on that, and we can see exactly which arguments have changed in this function. So here we can see that the second positional argument has changed. And that could cause something seriously bad to go with your code, right? So if you're relying on additional arguments, that could be a bit of a problem. So the roadmap is, the next step is we're going to have CI/CD for package devs. So essentially you're working on GitHub and you can automatically put up your version, 0.9000, and so you can sort of see what's happening in the dev version. Python should have been released last week. It's now going to be released next month. That's life, isn't it? And essentially, we've got a whole bunch of other things, but if you've got ideas, please come up and say, or tweet, or email, or anything like that. And really happy for suggestions, happy for questions, and feel free to go to Diffify.com and get a feel for what's going on. Thanks.